How does challah connect to the mitzvah of Shabbat? Imagine a beautifully braided loaf of bread sitting on your Shabbat table. It's more than just food. It's a symbol that ties together tradition, spirituality, and daily life. Challah is deeply linked to the mitzvah of Shabbat, which is the commandment to set aside this special day for rest and spiritual renewal. The Torah instructs us to take a portion of dough before baking and set it aside as challah. This act reminds us that even our most basic daily tasks are connected to holiness. When we separate challah, we acknowledge God's presence in our work and in our homes. The act is both practical and spiritual, showing that the physical can become a vessel for the divine. The braided shape of challah often has 6 strands, which symbolize the 6 directions of the physical world: north, south, east, west, up, and down. When the challah is baked and placed on the table, it represents the 7th dimension, Shabbat itself, an elevated time that transcends the ordinary. This connection highlights how Shabbat elevates our everyday lives, turning routine into a sacred experience. The act of braiding and sharing challah also signifies unity and wholeness, reflecting the harmony that Shabbat brings into our lives. Historically, the mitzvah of challah recalls the biblical story of manna falling from heaven for the Israelites in the desert. The 2 challah loaves on the table symbolize the double portion of manna that sustained them before Shabbat. This reminds us of God's ongoing provision and care, reinforcing the idea that Shabbat is a day of spiritual abundance and divine kindness. Women traditionally perform the mitzvah of separating challah at home, which connects them deeply to the spiritual preparation for Shabbat. This act has been passed down through generations, symbolizing the continuity of Jewish life and values. In essence, challah is not just bread. It is a physical reminder of the spiritual elevation that Shabbat offers. It unites the physical and divine, bringing holiness into our homes and hearts. The act of preparing, braiding, and sharing challah embodies the core of the mitzvah of Shabbat, creating a sacred space within the ordinary. It reminds us that even in everyday actions, we can recognize God's presence and bring a sense of sanctity into our lives.